You can't keep getting away with it! You can't keep getting away with it!
There are two halves of my personality. One half is, and one half is. And honestly, I don't know why it took me so long to combine the two. If there's one thing people in real life know about me that most of my viewership doesn't, it's that I'm a huge fan of the Breaking Bad series. It's one of my favorite shows of all time, which is why I'm kinda happy that in the last couple of years, it's become even more popular through memes and edits. I'm still working my way through Better Call Saul, the sister show, but I still wanted to somehow combine personality half 1 with personality half 2. However, despite my best efforts, I couldn't come up with a good way to combine the two. That is, until I spoke with a robot. Novel AI is a text-based AI program that is used primarily for telling stories or playing adventure games. It's pretty much if your D&D Dungeon Master was even more of a massive nerd. So I figured it would be perfect to combine the two. And oh, it was. Ladies and gentle friends, I present to you the Breaking Bad and FNAF crossover episode that nobody asked for, Breaking Faz. Enjoy.
I liked it. I was good at it. And I was really alive.
Walter White is the owner of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, a family restaurant with a host of singing animatronics. Walter uses this business to launder the money he makes from selling meth with his partner, Jesse Pinkman. Jesse has been hired as the night guard to the pizzeria, not knowing the animatronics become hostile after dark. The two are forced to work together when they find themselves in danger from the robots. This year is the 5th anniversary of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. As part of the anniversary celebration, Fredbear and Spring Bonnie will be performing on the stage in the theater for one night only. If all goes well, they'll perform again next year. However, if it does not go well, they will never come back. The stage manager assigned to manage the performance that evening is an employee named Mike Ehrmantraut. He was also responsible for hiring the robots to perform at the restaurant. Mike is a seasoned veteran who has worked with many different animatronic characters. On this occasion, however, he doesn't know what to expect from Fredbear or Spring Bonnie, and is anxious about their presence. Mike meets with the other employees of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, including Badger, Combo, Skinny Pete, and the rest of the security staff, to go over last-minute details before the show starts. They check everything one more time to ensure it's ready for the event. All the preparations are finished just as Mike receives a call from his daughter. After the conversation, he hangs up, looks at the clock, and realizes it's almost showtime. Badger and Combo stay behind to help out during the show, while the rest of the security team leaves for the night. When Mike arrives back at the pizzeria, he finds a note left by the night guard, Mike Schmidt, saying he's left and won't be returning. Mike reads the note and wonders why his friend would leave so close to the show. He leaves the building to locate him, but can't find him anywhere. As he walks into the pizzeria, the lights turn off and all the animatronics suddenly come alive. One robot, Chica, is already talking to him. She tells him she's excited to see her favorite song performed tonight. Mike seems nervous and confused. He asks where all the security guards are. Chica informs him that they're busy getting ready backstage. Suddenly, Spring Bonnie appears through the curtain. Chica runs to hug him, but Spring Bonnie grabs her hand and pulls her away. Spring Bonnie's eyes appear to glow red and he becomes aggressive towards Mike. Mike is shocked by what he sees. Spring Bonnie then moves closer to Mike and he backs up against a wall. He tries to escape, but Spring Bonnie follows closely behind him. Spring Bonnie's head spins around and he begins moving faster than normal. Spring Bonnie reaches out with his clawed hands and places them on Mike's shoulders. Spring Bonnie then pulls a metal box out from under his costume, revealing a large saw blade concealed within. As Mike watches in horror, Spring Bonnie raises the weapon above his head and prepares to strike. Mike pushes himself up against the wall and braces for impact, but suddenly, another animatronic appears. This one is much larger than Spring Bonnie. It's Freddy Fazbear. Freddy Fazbear is wearing a black suit and tie. There's a large button on the front of his chest that looks like a power switch. He holds a small flashlight in each hand and approaches Spring Bonnie in a menacing fashion. He taunts Spring Bonnie as he makes eye contact with Mike. Spring Bonnie stops mid-strike and turns around to face Freddy. He tilts his head and then begins to walk away. Freddy Fazbear then stands still. Spring Bonnie turns back to Freddy and lowers his weapon. Freddy remains frozen in place. Spring Bonnie then walks past Freddy Fazbear and continues to the backstage area. Mike is relieved that Spring Bonnie is no longer a threat. He walks forward to try to follow him, but is blocked by Freddy, who is blocking the way. A door then opens and Spring Bonnie heads inside. "What the hell is going on around here?" asks Mike. Suddenly the lights go out and all the animatronics begin to move. The lights come back on and the animatronics approach Mike. "I don't get it. I don't get any of this," Mike says as the animatronics surround him. "What do you want from me? What did I ever do to you guys? Why are you doing this to me? Help me, please." Mike pleads with the animatronics. One of the robots, Bonnie, stands directly in front of Mike and swings his arm around as though he's trying to punch him. Mike struggles to push Bonnie aside, but he's unable to fight his way through. Bonnie raises his fist and swings it down hard against Mike's chest, knocking him unconscious. Meanwhile, things are heating up in the control room. Mike is being dragged through the hallway by one of the robots, while Spring Bonnie and Fredbear stand nearby, waiting for their opportunity. One of the cameras shows the two characters standing in the shadows next to an open doorway. They look on as Mike is pulled by his feet across the floor. A few moments later, they hear a loud crash outside. Suddenly, Jesse Pinkman, the night guard, appears with a flashlight in his hand. Jesse runs through the halls looking for the source of the noise. He quickly finds Mike unconscious on the ground and rushes to pick him up. He carries Mike to the nearest elevator and presses the button. Seconds after the doors close, the alarm sounds and the power shuts off. The elevator drops several floors, but Jesse doesn't stop pressing the buttons. It finally comes to a halt and the doors open. He carries Mike into the office and lays him on the desk. He inspects Mike's wound and realizes he needs immediate medical attention. Jesse takes out his cell phone and calls 911. "Emergency services responding to the location of the pizza parlor," he says. Jesse hangs up and starts to examine Mike's injuries more thoroughly. He notices blood everywhere and realizes there's been a major accident in the pizzeria. Jesse looks over at Spring Bonnie and realizes they have another problem on their hands. Spring Bonnie slowly removes his head, revealing he was Walter White in disguise. "Shh," he says to Jesse. Jesse remains silent and continues to run his fingers along Mike's forehead. He examines the wound on his neck and runs his hands down to his chest. Jesse places the palm of his hand flat against Mike's forehead and closes his eyes. Mike suddenly awakens and sits up on the table. He stares at Jesse, confused by what's happening. "Mr. White," Jesse asks, "are you alright?" Jesse looks over at Spring Bonnie and sees that he has reattached his head. He then looks back at Mike and sees that he is covered in blood. "Oh my god, Mike, what happened to you?" Jesse yells. Jesse grabs his keys and runs out of the office. He rushes to the back of the building where he finds a maintenance closet containing an industrial vacuum cleaner. He attaches the hose to the vacuum and starts sucking up the spilled blood. When he's finished, he retrieves a trash bag from a cabinet and begins to fill it with the mess. Jesse hears a knock at the door. He leaves the door unlocked and answers it, not expecting anyone else to be there. He's shocked when he sees Spring Bonnie standing there. "What are you doing here?" asks Jesse. "We're here to make sure you stay safe," says Spring Bonnie. "What do you mean?" asks Jesse. "I'm the only one working here." "That's true," says Spring Bonnie. "But we have a mutual goal, to protect your little friend from these dangerous robots. We can help each other." "You guys can't just waltz in here like this," Jesse exclaims. "What if someone found you? You could get in trouble." "I assure you, Jesse," says Spring Bonnie, "I am completely undetectable. I've been watching you since you got hired. Believe me, I know all about your history. But if you're willing to trust me, I'll help you keep your job." They could hear new animatronics walking down the hallway towards them. It was Freddy Fazbear and Lefty. "If you want to help us, then come inside the office and let's talk," says Spring Bonnie. Jesse hesitates for a moment and thinks it over. He reluctantly enters the office and closes the door behind him. Freddy and Lefty pound on the doors angrily, trying to get in. Spring Bonnie takes a seat at Mike's station, while Jesse turns on the computer and logs onto the CCTV system. After a few minutes, he has located the security camera that shows the lobby and hallways outside the office. He zooms in on the area and begins to analyze the video footage. Freddy and Lefty continue pounding on the door, screaming to be let in. Jesse and Spring Bonnie watch as they try to break down the door. The two are foiled time and time again by the heavy metal door. Jesse sits quietly and watches the video. When he sees Freddy smash the glass window on the front door, he moves in closer. Spring Bonnie points to a back room on the cameras. "We need to go there," Jesse shouts. He grabs the vacuum and runs towards the back room. Spring Bonnie follows closely behind him. They enter the back room and find Freddy holding Mike hostage. "Give me the pizza or I'll kill him," says Freddy menacingly. "Don't hurt my friend," yells Jesse. "I just want to talk." "No talking. Give me the pizza now or I will hurt your friend," Freddy replies. "Here," says Spring Bonnie, handing a box of pizzas to Freddy. "Thanks a lot," says Freddy, taking the boxes from Spring Bonnie. "Is there anything else you'd like to give me?" asks Freddy. Spring Bonnie shakes his head, and Freddy leaves the room. Jesse and Spring Bonnie rush over to Mike and check his status. His vitals are stable, but he still has a serious injury. Jesse works quickly to treat Mike's neck wound. He administers a sedative to Mike so he can rest peacefully until the ambulance arrives. Spring Bonnie laughs quietly and looks at Jesse, staring. Jesse ignores him and continues to treat Mike's wounds. Once he finishes, he tells Spring Bonnie to monitor Mike's condition and call 911 if anything changes. Spring Bonnie nods and walks to the back of the room. There's a curtain, which he pulls back to reveal 5 dead children sitting on chairs. "What's going on here?" asks Jesse. "My name is Spring Bonnie," says Spring Bonnie. "These are the people who died because of you, and their souls are trapped in the bodies of these animatronics. This is where they live now. They won't leave this place unless you release them." "You killed these kids?" asks Jesse. "Yes," says Spring Bonnie, "and you're the reason why. You didn't follow the rules. These robots were supposed to be left alone. If you had done what you were told, none of this would have happened." "But how did they die?" asks Jesse. "I don't know," says Spring Bonnie. "Maybe something happened to them in the middle of the night when nobody was around. Maybe a piece of machinery broke and caused an accident. Something must have broken," whispers Spring Bonnie, "because I saw you leaving one of the robots alone. What was it called? The one with the glowing eyes. That's the robot that killed all those kids. Spring Bonnie, that's right." "How do you know that?" asks Jesse. "Because I'm the one who built him," says Spring Bonnie. "I designed him myself. I knew exactly what kind of power he would have, but I never imagined it would turn out like this." "Are you saying you made the robots kill?" asks Jesse. "Why would you do that?" "It was me," says Spring Bonnie. "I wanted to prove I could build a better animatronic than anyone else. I wanted to make the best robot ever. That's why I created them. I built them to be the perfect killing machines." Jesse sits in silence, stunned by what Spring Bonnie is telling him. Spring Bonnie opens the closet door to reveal an assortment of weapons. There are knives, hatchets, axes, maces, hammers, and other tools. Mike starts to wake up groaning. Jesse rushes over to him and checks his vitals. "Mike," he calls out. "Can you hear me?" "Yeah, I can hear you," says Mike. "I think I'm okay now. What's with Spring Bonnie?" "This man kidnapped you," explains Jesse. "He killed all the kids." "Wait a minute," says Mike. "Did you say Spring Bonnie? The same guy who built the robots?" "That's the one," says Jesse. "He claims he made them." Mike stares at Spring Bonnie incredulously. He draws his pistol and aims at Spring Bonnie. "I'm gonna blow a hole through your face, Spring Bonnie," he shouts. Spring Bonnie holds up his hands defensively.
"Please don't do this. Mike, you don't have to do this."
Yeah, unfortunately I do, Walter.
"Please, put down the gun," pleads Spring Bonnie. "I didn't mean for any of this to happen. None of this would have happened if you hadn't gone into the warehouse." "What?" cries Mike. "You're blaming me for this? I didn't force anybody to do anything. All I did was try to get a job." "Your actions led to the death of many innocent people," says Spring Bonnie. "The children I killed, the employees who worked here, the families who loved them. Well, you know what? Says Mike. Their loss is on your conscience, not mine. I'm sorry about what happened, but I'm not going to take the blame for it. If you're going to hold me responsible, then you should also hold yourself accountable. Spring Bonnie lunges for a gun from the weapon rack. Jesse tackles him before he has a chance to fire, knocking him to the floor. Get off me! Screams Spring Bonnie as he tries to push Jesse away. Jesse, please, stop! It's me, Walter. No, it's not, cries Jesse. Look at your clothes. How can you pretend to be somebody else after everything you've done? You're not Walter White anymore. Walter White, says Mike. Is that the guy who invented meth? Jesse turns to look at him. I suppose he is. Oh yeah, says Mike. I remember him now. He was always scheming to get ahead. I guess he finally got what he wanted. You've changed too much, says Jesse. No, I haven't, says Mike. I just went back to being the old me. The real me. The person I used to be. You will never be that person again, says Jesse. Not after what you did. I know, says Mike. Well, that was then, and this is now. Everything I've done since then has been a mistake. He aims for Spring Bonnie's head. Let me show you what I'm capable of. Let me show you who I really am. He pulls the trigger, but his gun doesn't fire. Shit, he says, pulling the hammer back again. This time, the gun goes off. His bullet hits Spring Bonnie in the forehead, sending blood everywhere. Spring Bonnie falls to the ground, lifelessly. Thank God, mutters Jesse. He's dead. Yes, says Mike. And so are the robots, and everyone they hurt along the way. Except for us, right? Asks Jesse. We're still alive. We'll live to tell the tale. Maybe, says Mike. Or maybe we won't. Who knows? Maybe there isn't any future for us at all. How can you say that? Says Jesse. I thought we were meant to go on together. I don't want to be a part of your story anymore, says Mike. I don't belong anywhere, or with anybody. You've changed, Mike, says Jesse. You've become someone different. You might not be able to turn back. Then I'll die trying, says Mike. I have nothing left to lose. Roll credits. So yeah, that was the Breaking Bad x FNAF crossover. Definitely a strange one, but honestly, I was surprised by how close Novel AI was to really sticking with the story. I totally did not expect it to actually try and make Walter White into the purple guy, and make him be the one to kill the 5 kids. Although there was a point where I realized the AI did mess up a little bit, and that is it tried to combine Mike Ehrmantraut and Mike Schmidt into one person. I think it worked out in the end, but I can totally see where some people might not think as much. It was also a thing where even after it was revealed that Spring Bonnie was Walter, the AI just kept calling him Spring Bonnie, so there's that. But overall, I think that this is honestly probably a better story than the first AI video I made. But let me know what you think, and maybe, just maybe, I'll make another episode of this. It's been super fun. Be sure to like and subscribe. I'm DMuted. Peace.